Rabbi Say, firstly, I want to welcome Manny back to Yeshiva. It's possible. I didn't okay it by him. We will hear from him, Be'ez Hashem, either today or next week. He did fly through the night. So we'll see if he gives a thumbs up for today. Probably I'll put him on the spot later on today, but we'll see. We'll decide. Me and Meir will decide together. Meir in the middle, you'll tell me. I want to share a vart from Rabbi Yerucham. I ask everybody to listen to the vart. It's on Parshas Kisisa. Please hear the vart, and then I want to tell you the vart behind the vart. I want to tell you a little bit. Manny is Zeich in Eretz Yisrael to have a Rebbe, Reb Geisler. Yes. And just from my children, just from Menachem being a Talmud of Reb Geisler, I can honestly say that I think more about these things because of Reb Geisler. What I'm going to share, the vart behind the vart, I only think about through my children becoming Talmidim of such a Rebbe. I became a Talmud as well. And what I'm going to share with you is because my children are Talmidim Reb Geisler is the only reason that I think about this. And I could say in an honest way that this vart behind the vart, so let me share with you as follows. In Parshas Kisisa, much like Truma and Tetzaveh, Maishala, it continues talking about the Mishkan. Amazingly, the Torah, which is so brief, and everything, generations are said in a pasuk or two, the Torah is amazingly meirich on the Mishkan, which is fascinating because it's a structure that was and will never be again. There was a Mishkan in the desert. This is not a history sefer. We are not into history. My dahava. You're allowed to learn Chachma on Shabbos. You're not allowed to study history because it's not a Chachma. History, our attitude on history is my dahava. What was. You can only study what was, Chananya. You can only study as much as it's relevant for now. Binu shnois dar vadar. Shal avicha v'yagedcha, only in as much as it's relevant to now. And amazingly, there are many parashiyos to the Torah about the Mishkan. We had Truma, Tetzaveh, and now Kisisa, which amongst it speaks about the Egel. It's a very difficult parashas Kisisa. Speaks about the Egel as well. But in middle, what's the... Excellent. Good job, Daniel. It's a Daniel thing. It's a fellow Daniel thing. There's just a certain connection. Daniel. Yeah. It's also possible. I have a special connection to Moshe. I think Moshe might have whispered to him also. But in the middle of Parshas Kisisa, in the middle of talking about the Mishkan, there's an interruption. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe Lamer. In middle vigi of speaking about the Mishkan, Hashem says to Moshe, Va'ata dabri al bnei Yisrael Lamer. Tell the Jewish people, Aches Shabsosai Tishmeru. Please keep my Shabbos. In the middle of the construction of the Mishkan, God interrupts and he tells Moshe, tell the Jewish people, Es Shabsosai Tishmeru. They shall keep my Shabbos. Says Rashi, what in the world? We're in the middle of learning about the Mishkan. And in the middle of the Mishkan, there's an interruption, a sudden interruption. It's on page 256. It's Perek Lamed Aleph Pasuk Yud Beis. In the middle of the Mishkan, it interrupts, and Hashem says, keep Shabbos. Says Rashi, Dabrel b'nei Yisrael, v'ata, af al pi shefkadeticha, even though I commanded you, Moshe Rabbeinu, I commanded to build a Mishkan. Al yekel beinecha lidchos Shabbos. Don't construct it on Shabbos. Says Rashi, Chazal, the reason Hashem said in middle of the construction of the Mishkan is keep Shabbos is Hashem was warning that even though you have a mitzvah to build a Mishkan, don't desecrate Shabbos. Don't build it on Shabbos. Geschmack. So that's why it interrupted the Asiyas HaMishkan with the pasuk, Ach eshabsoisai tishmayru, keep my Shabbos. The juxtaposition, what God put it right here, we're in the middle of the Mishkan, is to tell us, Hagam, there's a big mitzvah. To build a Mishkan, don't desecrate Shabbos. I want to learn that a little deeper, just parenthetically. I want to learn to think deeper and to study things deeper. Study it deeper, please, to hear it deeper. And this is not what I want to speak about. This is parenthetically Shleima. Let's grow up a little bit. Let's grow up. Let's connect better to Torah. The simple reading, Shleima, is you have a mitzvah, build a Mishkan. You have a mitzvah to build a Mishkan. That's the simple reading. And then it says, but don't desecrate Shabbos. Don't build a Mishkan on Shabbos. Deeper than building a Mishkan is the place of Ashras Ashchina. A Mishkan's a place we travel, and we come in contact with Hashem. Deeper than visiting God is the proclamation of Shabbos Kodesh. There's not just stam, like you're building the Mishkan, like this. It's not just taking notes. What comes, there's a depth to it. Shabbos is a Yid's announcement that there's Hashem in the world. Deeper than visiting Hashem's house is your obligation to announce in your life the existence of Hashem. You're not doiche Shabbos for the construction of a Mishkan. Of course, we make a place for Ashras Ashchina. But deeper yet is your announcement in your own life of the existence of Hashem. Don't push off Shabbos. It's interesting, if you notice on Friday night in L'Chadaydi, on Friday night, we speak about the construction of the Beis HaMikdash. We talk about Binyan Beis HaMikdash. If you notice the songs of Shabbos, we sing it in Yeshiva. L'Mikdash Sheikh Tov. U'L'Kodesh Tov means Shuv. We should return back to the Beis HaMikdash. L'Mikdash Sheikh Tov. U'L'Kodesh Kadoshim. And to the Kodesh Kadoshim. Sham Yechtun Ruchim and Nafshin. There will rejoice every soul and spirit. And we speak about Binyan Beis HaMikdash in the Zmira Shabbos, and understand, even though those Zmiras were written later on, but they represent the ideas of Shabbos, there's a tremendous link between Shabbos Kodesh and Beis HaMikdash. The way we word it, Yonatan, is what Beis HaMikdash is in space, Shabbos is in time. One more time. What the Beis HaMikdash is in space, Shabbos is in time. In space is a place to recognize Hashem. In time, there's a day to recognize Hashem. What Beis HaMikdash is in space, Shabbos is in time. Deeper yet, that you're not doiche binyan Beis HaMikdash, but don't give up Shabbos, is your announcement of Hashem. That weekly a Yid does. Building a place for Ashras Hashchin is huge. What's bigger yet is in your own life. What's fascinating is the Yid travels to the Mikdash. But deeper yet, I would word it this way. Bigger than going to the Mikdash is bringing the Mikdash to your house. What's that called? Shabbos. Shabbos, when a Yid announces Ashras Hashchina, bigger than visiting the Beis HaMikdash is the Beis HaMikdash visiting you. Hainu, Shabbos Kodesh. So Shabbos, you don't build the Beis HaMikdash on Shabbos Kodesh. How do we know that? Because in the middle of building the Beis HaMikdash, the Mishkan, it interrupted it and said, keep Shabbos. Next Rashi. Rashi's bothered by, it says, Ach eshabsoisai tishmoru. Ach. What's that ach? Should say, Dabro b'nei Yisrael leimar eshabsoisai tishmoru. Keep my Shabbosos. What's ach? The word ach is bizarre. Eshabsoisai tishmoru. My Shabbos you shall keep. Ki oisi, for it's a sign. Beini uveinechem, between me and you, for all your generations, ladas, to know. Ki ani Hashem mekadeschem, I am Hashem who makes you holy. What's that ach? But, rather, only. So we have a rule, whenever it says ach in the Torah, it's a miyut. Ach and rak are a miyut. They split something in half. Ach is a miyut. What's it mimayut? it excludes something. So what's ach? What's it mimayit? Ach eshabsoisai. But what's the ach? We have a rule. The Gemara in Makkah says ach and rak and kol Torah are mimayit something. So what's it mimayit? So says Rashi, the next Rashi. Ach eshabsoisai tishmayru. Afal pi tiyu redufin vizrizin samalacha. Even though you're overwhelmed and very deeply involved in building a Mishkan, Shabbos al tidchem b'fanel. Don't break Shabbos. That's the ach, and he brings the Gemara that kol achin v'rakin are a miyut l'mayit Shabbos v'malachas ha-Mishkan, to exclude Shabbos from building the Mishkan. So Rashi says the ach eshabsoisai ach. What's the miyut? Even though I told you to build a Mishkan, and you're very busy, you're redufim, you're so overwhelmed and so engaged, don't break Shabbos Kodesh. Frek the Ramban and Rashi, these Rashis are back to back. Frek the Ramban, a bomb kash on Rashi. Frek the Ramban, what happened? We had construction of the Mishkan. In the middle of the construction of the Mishkan, Hashem said, keep Shabbos. Said Rashi, why'd God say that? Don't build a Mishkan on Shabbos. Rashi number 1. Rashi number 2, why did it say ach es Shabbos? What's that ach? Said Rashi, even though you're building the Mishkan, don't be doich Shabbos. Frek Ramban, why do I need 2 drushes to teach me the same thing? It said it here, the position where the Torah put it, in middle of Mishkan, it said keep Shabbos. That was to tell me, don't build a Mishkan on Shabbos. And that was the first Rashi. Then you have a second Rashi. Why did it say, ach eshabsoisai tishmayru? Even though you're in the middle of building the Mishkan, don't be doich Shabbos. Alo, I already know that from the Torah putting it here. I don't need the ach for that. Frek the Ramban. Rashi, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Ramban's kasha Rashi. Yes, Yonatan.
What was Shabbos before the Mishkan? Don't all the laws of Shabbos come from
Great question, but we were taught the rules. We do know that specific. We were taught all the rules by Hashem. In Meimara, Hashem taught us all the rules of Shabbos Kodesh, and we had all the rules of Shabbos.
Avram kept Shabbos, right?
Yes. So Rabbi say, ask the Ramban and Rashi, why do I need 2 drushes? We have 2 drushes to say not to build a Mishkan on Shabbos. We have one, the position that in the middle of the Mishkan it said keep Shabbos. So I learned don't build a Mishkan on Shabbos. And a second from the word ach. Ach says even though you have to build a Mishkan, don't be derech Shabbos. Why do I need 2 drushes? This the Ramban asks on Rashi. Because of this kash on Rashi, the Ramban learns different than Rashi. He argues on Rashi. But what do we do with Rashi? Rashi knew this question also. It's back to back Rashi's appellate. Says Rabbi Yerucham. Rabbi Yerucham was the mashkiach in the Mir in Europe. Rabbi Yerucham, brilliant mashkiach. The Mir in Europe. Said Rabbi Yerucham, there's 2 dinim here. There's one din, and if a subtle student of Rashi will notice this as follows. The first Rashi says, even though I command you to build a Mishkan, don't do it on Shabbos. The second Rashi describes that you're overwhelmed. Even though you're redufim, you're so pressured, and you're zrizim in the Mishkan, don't do it on Shabbos. What are you telling me? Like, you might think what? That it's not. There's not totally in emotions. My wife and I were just talking. We were talking with Manny this morning in Pesach. People say, "Well, I feel it's not. There's Hashem's Torah. It's not up to how you feel and your emotions. There's a din in the Torah, and then we work ourselves to fit what Hashem says." What's the second Rashi? Even though you're so pressured and you're working so hard, still make sure to keep Shabbos. What would be the heter? Like a compensation. You're working so hard. Listen, you're allowed to be mechal. I hear you're working hard. Knock it off and get busy with Shabbos. So what? But it's not coming l'shem. It's talking about the difficult labor. Says Rabbi Yerucham. The first Rashi Aaron is saying a halacha. You're working, stop for Shabbos. There's no emotions. The second Rashi is not saying a halacha. It's saying a warning. Be very careful When you're redufim, when you're so overwhelmed working, you are at risk of being Mechal Shabbos. Make sure not to be Mechal Shabbos. It's not saying a din. The first one is the law, Aaron. The law is you build a Mishkan, but not on Shabbos. The Ach is saying, be careful. I know I told you to build a Mishkan. Ach, please be... It's not saying the din. The din is the position of the Torah. The din is not to build a Mishkan on Shabbos. Then Hashem said an extra word to warn that you're at danger. When people are mamish bringing it and busting it, I picture a person, Erev Shabbos, is mamish tifarain in a mitzvah, building a sukkah. You're at danger of being Mechal Shabbos. Be very careful. The second that speaks about the emotions, your redufim, is not coming. It wouldn't affect the law. It's just a danger. You're mamish hacking and handling and tumbling to build it. I picture the scene. Yidden are bringing it and killing themselves to build a Mishkan. You're at danger of being Mechal Shabbos. Rabbi Yerucham says that in general, when you're doing mitzvahs, you have very big danger of breaking other mitzvahs. The example Rabbi Yerucham gives, two Rebbeim talking Lashon Hara about a bacher. You're so busy, you're doing mitzvahs. You're being mechanech a bacher. Mamash a big mitzvah. Is that a heter to speak Lashon Hara about him? Yeah. You're talking to another Rebbe. This is the example Rabbi Yerucham gives. The example Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says a Yid runs to kiss the Torah. Big mitzvah is mamish. Some people he's very firm. When they hold the Torah, it's a big inyan to see the Isius, to see the letters. So he runs to see the letters and he tramples two Yidden on the way. Rabbi Yisrael said you're very dangerous when you're running to kiss the Torah. When you're running to see the Isius. Just because you're running, and I'll let her run over three Yidden on the way. You're always at danger when you're doing a mitzvah of breaking. So we all know in the name of religion the most crimes have been committed in the history of the world. But when you're running to do a mitzvah because you're so passionate and on fire and determined to do the mitzvah, there's a sakana. Says Rabbi Yerucham, that's the second Rashi. Not just in Allah and Zehirus, be careful. You're mamish, a fireball to build a Mishkan, as you should be. You're idealistic, you're on fire, you're passionate. It's nitzchias, mitzvahs. Make sure not to... The Seder night, we're doing mitzvahs galore. Mamish, the 64 mitzvahs. Rav Aaron David, our Rebbe, I'm not getting the story exact, we have to ask him the exact. He went to a chashvad Yid in Yerushalayim, and the Yid asked him, what's the biggest mitzvah at your Seder? So he's thinking, matzah b'zman hazeh d'oraisa, mora d'rabanan, agoda d'oraisa, and he's handling, hacking, tumbling, cheshboning, a geshmak alumdish question. What's the biggest mitzvah at your Seder? The Rebbe said to Rav Aaron David, your elderly mother's at your Seder, taking good care of your mom. That's your biggest mitzvah tonight. It was such a good warning. You're involved in a Seder. How many people running a Seder are a little bit cross? They say a mean line to a kid in the family. You're running a Seder, you're mamish on fire. Be careful. You can't run over somebody. You're dangerous when you're doing a mitzvah. Your passion is good. It's in a tremendous moment, but be careful. Be careful. You're right, you have a mitzvah, and you're right, you're on fire. You're running. I remember seeing a tremendous person who was excited about the Seder when I was a youngster. And I remember seeing this person, somebody else was in a certain mood, and they started crying, like, you're killing my whole Seder. It's nice you're running to a Seder, but if your kid needs a chizuk, an encouragement, a Seder is fascinating. I dream all year about running a Seder. I want a magical Seder. I had a maisa with my kids. To run a good Seder, you need a nes. I say it's the same nes. You need as big a miracle as all the splitting of the sea and the 10 months to run a good Seder. You have a wide variety of Seder. You have a 6-year-old, and you have a 22-year-old. You have a wife. You have guests, a range. And that everybody has an experience that's moving, that's inspired. You need a miracle. You need to prepare hard, hishtadlus. You need tefillah. You daven hard. It's a dream to have a good Seder. You dream. You need siyata d'shmaya, heavenly assistance, Benny. To have a Seder that mamish There was one year, it was the best seder of my life. I don't know, it was like a nace. Mamish, every ocean was splitting. It was amazing. So nace, I remember the scene of the seder. Manny and Maish will remember this. The seder was knocking. The back left corner, my kids were around close. The back left, those girls were sitting there. They were working at the hotel. Everybody was becoming from her. We were mamish headed, Adam, Mitzrayim, Tar Sinai. The whole world was, the Kailas, Subrakim, everything was fire. In the middle of this magical seder, two drunkards walk into our seder and clobber the whole thing. They started trying to get married to the girl. Maybe they were the mitzvah. It was Lebedik. And they destroyed the whole seder. They started saying kfira, but like not letting anybody talk. They destroyed the whole seder. Destroyed. Mamish, but killed it. And I'm sitting there and I was clearing what to do. It was like, they broke our seder. They broke our seder. I wait all year to communicate to my family. All year, this precious mitzvah, from the holiest moments. You're born for these moments. This is like why we live. And I'm handing to my children everything I want to hand them. And two drunkards ruined the whole set. Destroyed. Anything we were trying to do, anything, gone. Denying Hashem, Leitzanus, every Aveir in the sun. I was clearing, should I call security? Get them out. Just carry them out. They were drunk, shikkered. Carry them both out. Should I call this? I thought about it. It was an assignment. But I thought to myself, what's the night of Seder Amunah? Maybe all the things I'm teaching, maybe it'll be a bigger lesson for my family. Shah Hashem runs the world, and maybe how to accept and understand. I don't know in 50 years now what will impact more. But understanding that just because you're running after a mitzvah, to then be able to adjust. You're running to kiss the Torah is wonderful, but don't run over a yid on the way. You're running, you're mamish. And two drunks say, okay, so two drunks, Hashem put two drunks, okay. So we were carried the two drunks. They spent Yantiv, they were by our table most of the rest of Yantiv. They said they weren't drunk the rest of Yantiv, they just killed the Seder. But just because you're running to do a mitzvah, you're dangerous. And Rabbi Yerucham says you got to be careful. You got to be careful. When you're running to a mitzvah, run to the mitzvah, be passionate, be fired. There's nothing like Leil HaSeder that people prepare and get ready and start thinking about what the Seder is going to look like. And then you don't need two drunks. Maybe one of your children's not in the best mood and needs a little pickup and is kvetchy, is an older child, a younger child. Maybe your wife is very tired and just needs extra help that night. You're running for a mitzvah is wonderful, but don't lose sight of the situation in front of you. Now, this is what Rabbi Yerucham said, is the second Rashi, is always, be passionate, fire, but make sure not to run over. Now, this is the word of Rabbi Yerucham, gorgeous. Until my kids was Zeiche, till I was Zeiche, that my children was Zeiche to learn by a Rebbe, I would have stopped here. Just this alone. This alone is myrdik. This is like delicious stuff. But their Rebbe demands of them, and thus demands of me. He would say, what's Hashem saying to you, Daniel? More, deeper. Like it's time, true, okay, I'm running after a mitzvah. There's still the other mitzvahs. What's Hashem saying? I think there's something deeper, my friends. There are really 2 points. I want to speak about 1 point. Manny's Rebbe would demand of us, do you know what I mean, Menachem, to see better? That's like you're looking at something true. You're running after one mitzvah. We all know, on the way to one mitzvah, a yid's dangerous. Effie, there's something deeper. And I want you all to hear this. There's something much deeper, and it excites me, and I only thought of this because my kids are zeicher to learn by such a Rebbe. Listen to something. Before my kids met their Rebbe, I would have been very happy and stopped here. But Shlomo, I know there's something deeper. I'm not looking to be deep. There's something more here. Because I ask myself, what's happening? I'm busy with a mitzvah. Why am I at danger? There's a sugya, like I stopped learning Bein, I got a vert. Okay, next. I started thinking more, why am I at danger when I'm doing a mitzvah? Why am I at danger when I do it? What's going on here? I'm running to kiss the Torah. Why am I more? You know you're more likely to run over Yidden when you kiss the Torah. Well, by the way, more than you run to the gym when you kiss the Torah, you're more dangerous. Das steht. And that's what Rabbi Yerucham says. Why am I more dangerous? Why am I? What's the word that you're more at danger? I'm running to do a mitzvah. Why am I? So you could say because you're more passionate, because it's true. But I want to share, I think there's another reason you're more in danger. Rabbi, what I think's going on here, when you do a mitzvah, you're doing tzivui Hashem. Is the ikar sugya me, look how big I am? Or the ikar sugya is that I'm serving? There's a mitzvah, there's a commander. Somebody commanded, the Rebbeinu Shalom told me. Is the ikar sugya you or Hashem? Whenever you do a mitzvah, you're a big guy, and you should be big, you're doing tzivui. But always remember, you're doing Ratzon Hashem. Remember the mitzvah. In doing a mitzvah, it could be all about you and you're doing big stuff. And you'll be rewarded, but you're doing the will of the mitzvah. Remember the mitzvah. And I think our danger in doing, if we remember the mitzvah, we don't run over other Yidden. Because we remember all the details that the mitzvah tells us. There's a mitzvah. If you remember the mitzvah, I don't think you're at danger of running over anybody. It's not a bit, when it's all you and there's no mitzvah, I'm doing a mitzvah. I am busy. I picture somebody is like running an event. And a little kid comes up and says, you're running a kiruv Shabbaton. So it's all you. And the man's son comes up and says, Daddy, and it's kvetching. Excuse me, he yells at his son, I am running a Shabbaton. One second, you're running this for Hashem. Your kid wants you. The loss of focus of all why do you lose a sense of everything? Because you forgot about the mitzvah. It was you doing the mitzvah, not doing the mitzvah Hashem, the command of the Rabbeinu Shalom. I think the depth over here, and you know why I say this, and this is what the Menachem's Rebbe taught me. Why did Hashem do it to teach? Why did he teach this to me here? Please listen to this. Why did Hashem teach me this here? The Torah is chock full of mitzvahs. And Rabbi Yerucham says it's teaching you in all mitzvahs. When you're doing one mitzvah, be careful not to mivatal difference. So why does Hashem teach it here? There are many mitzvahs. What mitzvah did Hashem teach it by? You're building a mishkan. Rabbi said, what's the purpose of the mishkan? Hashras hashchina. Your mamish, but I'm building a mishkan. You fly over. Why are you building a mishkan for Hashem? This guided me to the real principle. Don't forget that the mitzvah. And it describes your redufim in the mitzvah. Your mamish sweating and working and on fire. Your mamish azak. I picture the guy's exploding. And his little kid, he runs over and his wife, at the seder, he's mamish. He's a fireball. He's impatient. His wife's working in the kitchen. Why aren't you helping serve the soup tonight? Why aren't you helping? Why aren't you noticing? Because you're redufim in the mitzvah. Because you're so harangitan in the mitzvah. Remember, the mitzvah is hashras hashchini. You're building a place for Hashem. I think when you remember the mitzvah, you remember the commander. I don't think you're at threat of running over Yidden on the way to kiss the Torah. There's a mitzvah. It's not me. I'm doing the will of the mitzvah. I think that keeps me balanced to all the commands of the mitzvah. I don't run over. Years ago, I was learning in the Mir Yeshiva. It's one of the saddest scenes I ever witnessed in my life. I'm learning in the Mir Yeshiva late at night, and they come running to the Mir that we need Bachrum, come to Rabbi Yashiv. The Gadol Adar lived about 4 or 5 minute walk from the Mir. They say we need a couple of 100 guys. Everybody run. There were a couple of 100 people learning. It was about 12 at night. Run. There were thugs throwing rocks at Rabbi Yashiv. At his house, they were trying to stone Rabbi Yashiv. So they emptied the Mir. Run and come protect. Drive away these thugs. What happened? There were people who, in a well-meaning way, they had shittas about kfarim. They were trying to protect. It's very not bakavadik to to build on a kever. And they had a mission, this group, to protect Kfarim, the Kedusha of Kfarim, of graves. The Rabbi Yashiv issued a psak that allowed the government in a certain way to build the highway and what they could do. Rabbi Yashiv matired something, I don't know exact details. And these thugs attacked the Gadol Adar. In protest, Ki'ilu, how can a Yid do such a thing? Reb Volbu, every word was measured. He wasn't given hyperbole. Reb Volbu didn't exaggerate. His words were measured, thought out. Reb Volbu said in front of the whole mir, you have to understand, Reb Volbu talked, his words were exact. He said, these men, ein lohem chelek lo'olam haba. You felt like choking. Reb Volbu didn't say, he has no olam haba. Reb Volbu said on the people, that week shmooze in the mir, he said, the people who attack the Gadol Adar have no olam haba. Pause. You felt like choking. Reb Volbu didn't say things, he just said they have no world to come. And then he paused, he said, if they don't do tshuva. It was so powerful, like the measured Yid who said clear they could do tshuva. He said they have no olam haba. And he had a chazal he was coming from. Im lo yasu tshuva, if they don't do tshuva. You walked away with Yirah Shamayim. First of all, you saw a measured person. Here he's like fire. He didn't scream and yell. These people, he said it softly almost. You first felt like choking. That second where he paused, they have no olam haba. It's like, Rav Volbu doesn't talk that way. He doesn't say, Kol Yisrael Yishem Cherech Olam Haba. He said, these people who attacked the Gadol Adar have no olam haba. Pause. It was like in the room, there was no air anymore to breathe. We needed that cellar for every 1,000, 1,500 people were there. Pause. Said if they don't do tshuva. I never felt tshuva so real in my life. Never. Rav Volbu's measured words, tshuva. I was like, wow. I never felt olam haba. Olam haba was real. Tshuva was real. Amazing, measured what he said, Rav Volbu. But how can it be? Some people they were protecting Kfarim because it was all about them. It was all about them. The mission became tough, guys. If it was about the mitzvah, there was no way you're going to run over a Gadol Adar. Is it all about you or all about the mitzvah? There's a beautiful Gemara Baba Kama that says Shemin Atamani was darshaning all the essen in the Torah. He had a life's work. Who knows how many years he was darshaning every S in the Torah. The word the, S. And he held a chiddush, that S is extra. And he showed every S in the Torah what it meant. It probably is a project that took like 10 years, 15, 30, I don't know how long. To darshan, you don't just say things in the Torah. That means he knew Kol Torah Kula. It's like his Velt's drasha. And he had a drasha for every S in the Torah. He comes to one S, Yonatan, Es Hashem Elokecha Tira, and he's honest with himself. That S, I can't darshan anything. What can I equate? Fear Hashem. What can I equate to fearing Hashem? And he goes and he gives up his entire life's drasha. He says, I'm wrong. Every S in the Torah, take it back. There's no drasha. Now he could have invented and said, and he had every negiyus to protect his life's work. And once there's one S that's extra, it must be. It shouldn't dash an S. And he took back a life's work. It doesn't say how long he worked, I have to be honest. But he took back a work that was definitely serious. Rabbi Kiva, by the way, darshaned S l'rabbis talmidei chachamim. Some Mefarshim say that Rabbi Kiva only thought to equate Es Talmid Chachamim when he saw Shemin Atamani being chayzer. For Talmud Chacham could be so emistic, from that I say Es could be married to Talmid Chacham. Wow. There's such a pshat. It could be the Ben Yoyada, I don't remember. There's such a pshat. But the Kitzur Advarim is that Shemin Atamani said, Kishem Shem Mekabel Schar Ladrisha, the same way I get schar for darshanik, I get schar for prisha. If it's all about you, your work, then when something stands in your way, you run it over. Something stood in his way. Some gadol gave a psak, and he took back his whole life's work. Kfarim, woo! you're fire, you're mamish. If it's all about you, something goes in the way, you stone him. If it's about the mitzvah, it's about bikush emes, it's about the will. The second something says not to do it, now I stop. It's not about me. The second the boss seems to say to stop, so the boss said stop. If you're running to kiss the Torah and it's you, the Jew in the way is the boss saying stop. But if it's about you, you run over. If it's about God, God said stop. You stop instantly. Rebbe Yasha, the Gadol Adar, gives a psak. If it's about you, so you stop. So you run over. I'm doing this. If it's about the boss, I picture the boss saying, Chaver, let's stop now. To the one who's about the boss said stop. The boss said stop. If it's about the boss and the boss said stop, so you stop. It was all about the boss. If it's about you, you don't care that the boss said stop. You're building a mishkan, a place of Ashras Hashchina. You're fire, you're passionate, you're going mishuga. Don't be Mechal Shabbos. It's not just a fact. It's not just a fact of you're dangerous, you're doing a mitzvah. There's something deeper. You're involved in something passionate. You're involved in a life's mission, a life's work. Keep in mind the mitzvah. Keep in mind the boss. Keep in mind the commander of the mitzvah. You can get so fired up from the mitzvah and forget the commander of the mitzvah. And when you forget the commander, if the commander says, enough, say that. It was only for the commander. It reminds me of the Gemara. If you're doing something for the covet of somebody, all of us have seen, have you ever seen like an overzealous person, a gadol, it's like putting on his coat and a youngster runs over and starts like grabbing the coat and like helping. The gadol said, I'd like to do it myself. What's the gadol? You're doing it for my honor. It's my honors. I like putting it on myself, please. If it's about you, you run over him, you beat him up, the guy's like arms, he wants to put it on himself. You're doing it for his honor, he says he wants it himself. The deeper thing, Rabbi say here, that's being said here, is that you're building a mishkan. Don't forget it's a place of Ashras Hashchina. Don't forget it's a place for Hashem. You're involved in something wonderful. You're involved in something great and important for the boss. Remember the mitzvah, remember Hashem. All different times people describe to me, and this is the difference. A guy's learning basmad in his home, and his little kid comes to him. He beat. You forgot the boss. You forgot. It's nice you're steiging. You forgot you're learning Hashem's Torah. You're learning because Hashem was mitzvah. When you remember the boss, when the boss clearly whispers, stop for a minute. Your kid coming over is the boss whispering, take care of your son for a minute. That's the halacha. When you learn Torah, you have to stop for a mitzvah. You have shalas adecherim. If you forget the boss and you become raduf in the mitzvah, you run over 1 million people. If you remember the mitzvah, then when the mitzvah says, stop for a minute, just stop for a minute. When the mitzvah said stop, you stop. That's the oimik of what's going on here. So this point, Rabbi say, well, Isaac and mitzvahs, it's funny, the Leil Seder is the night, there's literally no night all year that we involved in more mitzvahs. There's no night. They're involved in more mitzvahs. At what? Pesach night. And there's no night all year that you have this nisayon. It's fascinating. That people, there's no night, there's no chance, there's no night, and it's mamish, the test of the night. We're learning for the next week and a half, we're going to learn about the seder, we're learning about Pesach. There's no night that this word in Parshas Kisisa comes more into the forefront. And I think it's so precious that this is the nisayon of Leil Seder. The drunks came in Pesach was the Seder. Emunah, service of Hashem. We became the nation of Hashem. So let's see when 2 drunks come to your Seder. Your kid kvetchi at the Seder might be the biggest thing of your Seder. And you should plan, by the way. Dream how you have your Seder. You're silly not to dream of it. And then be flexible for Hashem to whisper to you during your Seder also. So you'll be on fire with your best word, and you notice your wife's getting very tired. So then you figure out, what should I do? But remember the mitzvah, and he's going to be involved in your seder. Sometimes during our seder we say, Hashem, I'm too busy with Emunah. Hashem. I'm busy with Emunah, Hashem. Come on. You're like, Shu Hashem, you just kicked God out of your seder. You did. Excellent. Your mamish kicked Hashem out of your seder. I'm much too busy with Emunah, talking about how Hashem's involved in my life and every detail. I'm busy talking about every detail that goes on. Excuse me, this kid over here. I'm trying to tell my family every details from Hashem. Be quiet, youngster. Hello. A guy missed his whole seder. Everything was great. He wasn't at his own seder. He missed the whole thing. So I love that this year told Rav Aaron David, taking care of your elderly mother at the seder is the biggest mitzvah. I want to say that having patience for your son and having patience for your sister and respecting your mama at the seder might be the biggest Pesach thing you do the whole night. That you remember Hashem, you remember the mitzvah. In a night of mitzvahs, remember the mitzvah. Be redufin in mitzvahs. Get involved. Get busy. Get each mitzvah mamish, and we're going to study. We're going to have some halacha today. There's no way we have way too much halacha to learn. We're going to get in a few moments. I need to catch Manny up. Moshe, we should catch Manny up on the songs. Which song should we give him first, Moshe? You have to pick one. Give your brother. Which song do you want him to? Which song do you want? Oh, okay, that's it. Moshe wants that. Jonathan, Zevi, come up. Where's Zevi? Zevi, come up.
Oh, it's just getting started.
I composed Moshe means they. I'm also a composer. I composed the new song. Pesach is coming. Okay.
Moshe wants Purim.
Composer, choir leader, and
But Pesach is masking Pesach.
Rabbi, it's a Pidum song, right?
Yeah. The aside of the song, Chevra. People are handling in Eretz Yisrael. Are we going to be here, there, as if like Pesach hangs in the balance? I don't know where we're going to be. Pesach's coming. That's not negotiable. Where we'll be, how we'll celebrate, who will be there when we celebrate. Pesach's coming. Jonathan, let's go.
Pesach?
Yeah.
Bye.